It's been little over a week since a ceasefire deal was signed. But Israel today unleashed a new wave of strikes inside Gaza. More than 20 areas across the Strip were targeted. The IDF called this a firm response to their troops coming under fire in Rafah this morning, resulting in the deaths of these 2 Israeli soldiers. Israel says this footage shows armed militants crossing agreed peace lines to approach their troops, accusing Hamas of a bold violation of the ceasefire. Hamas has denied any knowledge of attacks on the IDF today, saying it remains committed to the terms of the agreement. But this is not the peace deal as intended by the US administration. The Americans have been putting pressure on Israel to bring its military operations in Gaza to an end.
Some fear came over her. And
one of Trump's representatives has tonight told ITV News there are clear concerns that peace may not prevail.
I don't have any confidence that Hamas is going to do the right thing long term. I do have a lot of confidence in President Trump and our team.
But what does that mean for the ceasefire if Hamas doesn't live up to its obligations?
Well, you've heard President Trump talk about it. He will use strength to be able to resolve these issues.
One of the unresolved issues is the return of Israel's dead hostages. Hamas has so far returned 12 bodies to their families for proper burial, but 16 remain unreturned. Among those families still waiting is Ruby Chen. Every day he has worn the dog tags of his son Itai. When you see the escalation that we've seen today in Gaza again, how does that make you feel about your chances of recovering your son?
We feel there's a very limited window of opportunity. The Middle East, you could say a lot about it, but I think the most predictable thing you could say about the Middle East is that it is unpredictable. It's always a matchlight away from something going.
In Gaza, Palestinian families are also waiting for news, desperate to identify the remains of their loved ones returned by Israel. This woman says she has just found her father. Tonight, Israel says it has concluded this military action after 9 hours of bombardment, leaving the damage that has been done to Gaza and to the ceasefire agreement. We heard there the US ambassador-designate say that Trump will resolve these issues with strength, and we have seen that in action here today. It was US pressure on Israel that made sure that the military action in Gaza was kept limited in terms of scale and scope, and that it has come to an end tonight. They also put pressure on Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu not to close those humanitarian aid corridors, to walk back on that, meaning that the aid will again resume from tomorrow going into Gaza. But there's also pressure at play here from Israel. They believe they have to keep this threat of military action over Hamas in order to have all of the remains of the hostages returned to Israel. They believe that Hamas is playing games, withholding some bodies deliberately to use the last remaining leverage they have over Israel. And there are many here who believe that the military action today has worked because in their eyes that Hamas has just announced that they've found another body. But what we are seeing that is different this time is that although this exchange of fire has come to an end, in this instance, Hamas did not fire rockets into Israel. In previous instances, that was something that we expected here.
Peter in Tel Aviv, thank you.